Hey, we're here for a quick deck tech with the Boros Burn deck we're going to be running through in this Modern Prelim. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a constructive comment down below. I'll give you a huge shout out to all our new subscribers and to our longtime subscribers who have been watching the channel for a while. We've noted a little bit of growth of late, and I want to thank you guys for your support. So anyways, in the prelim today, we're running back the same list that we played in the 5-0 League, that the link should be hopefully above here. But this list seems pretty solid. Like, there are some cards I missed, like some Path to Exiles or some Explosive Firecraft in some spots, but overall, I'm pretty happy with this list after the first league we played. Probably tweak it when we play our next actual league, with maybe a couple paths and maybe tweaking some other, like, one or two cards. I don't think we need 4 Smash, and I don't think we need 4 Core Firewalker, but we're keeping things simple for this particular league, or this particular prelim. Beyond that, we have, basically the 4-4-4-4-4 across the board deck with 20 lands. I'm kind of happy with the 20 land count. Keeps us from having too many one-landers that are dangerous, or gives us better chance to draw into our lands. I think we have an easier time now winning when we can cast our spells as opposed to flooding out. Flooding out is a little bit mitigated by having 6 can lands in the deck. And I want to be able to cast my spells on time and at least have a chance to kind of overwhelm our opponent before it gets into the mid-to-late game, where burn tends to peter out and die a little bit. Beyond that, sideboard, obviously, rest in peace for Dredge, Storm, etc. Core Firewalker for the red mirrors. Skullcrack, obviously a lot of people like to main deck this card. In the current format, I don't think it's quite as necessary, at least in the main deck. There are a lot of decks that are running things like Uro, etc., but those are a little bit slower life gains. A lot of times you can overwhelm them, especially if they're taking a turn out to cast in a row, and you already have a board presence. The 4 copies of Smash, a little bit excessive, but once again, keeping with a more simplistic thing. It's pretty good against Eldrazi Tron, pretty good against the Urza decks. And having some number of smashes is pretty nice against the various Stoneforge Mystic decks that are still running around. Some of the Bant decks, while they are playing Snow Control, some of them are still running Stoneforge Mystic. So it's nice to have utility in those matchups. And beyond that, let's get in the prelim and see how we do. We are here for the first round of a Modern Prelim with Boros Burn. Hand's reasonable. Probably one more land than I ideally want, but still pretty reasonable overall. So Spear into multiple spells. On the play, which is always nice. Wanted to try to do at least one prelim this week while I was off. Just so happened this one's at 3 o'clock in the morning when I woke up. So, but we're getting to 5. Down to 4. Down to 3. These sound effects are quite interesting. Surprised our opponent's fetching here. Alright, Stomping Ground, sure. What deck would mulligan to 3 And fetch Stomping Ground. Dredge, possibly? Certainly a deck that could mulligan to 3 and win. Up into 3. All right. All right, so we're going to put them on Dredge. Goldfish, Box of Agunus. Presume the only decks that run that are Dredge. Confirmed. Leyline of Sanctity, huh? That's a rough one to beat. Alright, so we're going to want Rest in Pieces. Going to want Skull Cracks. Cards that we probably don't want. Potentially Boros Charms. An Eidolon on the draw, potentially. Though with the presence of Leyline, huh. Definitely board out the Boros Charms. Got a couple Eidolons. Maybe Skewer the Critics. This is where I prefer to have the split on Crypt and I mean, this is a keepable hand, but against Dredge, this may not be good enough. But still not going to throw it back, looking for Rest in Peace. Definitely keeping. Against a 4. Alright. It's a pretty good turn 2 play. Do you have a lava axe? Appears like the answer is no. Discard a card and draw a card, sure. Rest in peace. Eidolon, not the best draw, but still reasonable. Feels like they're catching Merchant of the Veil. Yep. Trigger. All right, and Nature's Claim. Mildly unfortunate. Okay. Go to 4 here. And wow, Dredge is a matchup I don't like to face a ton of, but feels nice to get on the board. 1-0 in the prelim. We are back for match number 2. Honestly, kind of a middling burn hand. Like, as far as burn spells, it's pretty good. You know, we have 15 points of burn in our hand, but no 1-drop creature, no Eidolon. No real way to target creatures. This is a very linear hand. That said, I still think it's a keep overall, but it's certainly a hand that could have some problems. Tron. Well, this is normally a matchup I like, depending on which variant of Tron it is. I like it significantly less when we keep drawing lands, but, you know. Especially since they are looking to be regular Tron. Okay. Searing Blaze, not a good card in this matchup. Okay. So they will in fact have turn 4 Tron, which is annoying. Alright, I mean... Please play Worm Coil Engine. Oh. Okay, cool. So we got there. So our bar hand, we managed to get there. Even with one of our worst cards in the matchup. Oh, it's very rare to get there with a straight burn hand on turn 4, but that was like the perfect draws pretty much. Definitely want the skull cracks in. Some number of smashes is perfectly reasonable. Searing Blazes come out because they're actively pretty bad in the matchup, and then 2 smashes in over 2 Eidolons on the draw. Eidolon, especially on the draw, when your opponent keeps a reasonable hand, pretty much usually won't do anything. Smash can at least bias a turn or 2 against a Worm Coil Engine start. Obviously, they have other cards that can... Well, hello there. This hand is very good. Even against turn 3 Tron, this hand's pretty good, generally speaking. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Okay. Yep, so presumably they get the 3rd Tron piece here. Fortunately, I don't think this is a turn 3 kill, but I'm going to fetch another Sacred Foundry, simply because if we're up against, depends on what their play is. Obviously, if they're Drag Tusk, we're in some trouble. If it's like Worm Coil Engine, we can kind of, this member is kind of for them at this point. Okay, Karn the Great Creator. What do you go grab here is the question mark. Trinisphere would be really bad. Liquid Metal Coating. Sure, and then Liquid Metal Coating. So they're going to stop one of our lands. Actually, okay. So 6 damage currently. Boros Charm's lethal, correct? The 7, and then, yeah. Trigger, and got there on turn 3. Nice. Alright, 2-0 start so far in this Modern Preliminary. We're back for match number 3 here on the draw. This seems definitely risky. I think because of the volume of 2-mana spells, I think this is supposed to be a mulligan. This hand's very similar. Put back. I guess give her the critics. Okay, so type of zoo deck, I guess. Normally would be very good against, but we're kind of up against needing to draw. Retreat. Nope, Herbalist. Okay. Okay. Wow, that's quite the hand. Let's kind of stay alive here. Close this, huh? That's going to be a tough one to beat. I think we just might lose simply because of that. On deck, hand me land, please. Okay. Sure. Alright, so that's kind of a rough one to lose. Guess we bring in Firewalkers, question mark. And Boros Charms. This gives us a way to kind of recoup some of the damage. Even though a good bit of their deck is... Yeah, hand's pretty good. Eidolon's typically pretty reasonable against them. A burning tree, sure. Interesting. Forest. Yep, bolt. Go through the turn. Well, if they want a burning tree chain here, they're going to take quite a bit of damage. Trigger. That's a rough one. Alright, go ahead and kill that. Must be mindful of how many spells they play. Alright, if they have a Tarka's command, they have a Tarka's command. There's not really much I can do about it here. To 4. Whether the storm would be such a beating here. Let's continue to play the waiting game. The question is, how many Dragon's Claws am I expecting them to have? Don't know that I'm supposed to change how I approach this matchup. Like Clothis and Dragonclaw, just 1, 2, 3. I think we keep his hand. It's not great, but obviously I can cast my spells, and my especially Helix is pretty high impact in this matchup. Once again, I wouldn't normally keep his hand, but so Renegade, yep. Eidolon's considerably worse on the draw. Okay, no blocks. I think they would have slammed a... considering Nakatl. Sure. Blaze is pretty good here. You have a bolt in response. Feels like you do. Alright, well. Tarmogoyf, yeah. So I have to be careful with those guys. Eidolon's not particularly good on this board. It's 9 points of burn in hand. Could go 14. Multiple glyphs are going to be hard to beat. Put us to 5. That's going to be rough. So I'd only put them to 6, put us to 11. I think we're just unfortunately going to lose this matchup. Okay, sure. Well, that makes things significantly harder. Really didn't want to lose to Burn, did they? So each one of these only effectively deals 1. I don't think we're winning this match by any stretch, but I guess this is the best option that we have. Alright, 2 and 1, unfortunately. They obviously wanted to beat Burn. So, anyways, on to the next match. Back for match number 4 in this Modern Prelim here. On the draw, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be able to make do. So 1 match against Dredge, 1 match against Tron, 1 match against Gruul Zoo there. Who seem, well, Naya Zoo actually. They were very well prepared for the Burn matchup between Klothys and Dragon's Claws. And Klothys is actually a very underrated card against Burn. A bit slow, but once it gets rolling, it's kind of hard for Burn to kind of overcome that style of thing, you know? Just, you know, them gaining 2 life and dealing 2 damage, so even if you build up a hand over time that's able to overcome the life gain, or say you can build up a hand that can like burst in one shot so they don't get all that life gain. Like say there's just a land in the graveyard and you have like a couple creatures in play, then you can like maybe over the course of one turn do like Boros Charm, Lightning Bolt, untap, like Helix, skewer the critics and end the game, not giving them a spell in the graveyard to accelerate or to gain some life off of. Unfortunately, in the game we were in, game number 1, we didn't have that opportunity. And then game number 2 and 3, 2 we were able to steal on the play, which was nice. It was kind of one of those games where Dragon's Claw is not effective. Dragon's Claw and Core Firewalker are both much more effective when the card comes down a turn early or comes early down turn 2, turn 3, and can absorb like a lot of the spells. If it comes down when the caster's like at 4 or 6 life, sometimes it's just not enough to stabilize. It's really part of a package to beat the red aggressive decks. I'm not saying it's not powerful. I'm not saying I shouldn't have considered boarding in some number of smashes to have outs to it. It's just in a situation where your opponent's deck is like all creatures and maybe like a couple of Atarka's commands and some bolts, it's really hard to justify bringing in this card that, if it matches their hate card, great. If it doesn't, then you're sitting there looking at a card going, well. Anywho, I will resume this recording if our opponent ever joins. So, opponent came. This game's interesting. I think we keep it, but it is definitely a huge risk to flood out here. Like Goblin Guide and Eidolon's pretty reasonable spots. Obviously, if we get turn 1 Inquisition or Thoughtseize, I'm going to regret. But obviously not the best of situations for us to okay, so some type of snow deck. Could be Bant Snow Control. I feel like a fatal push in my future. So we're up against 4 Color Niv, or 5 Color Niv it looks like. That's just rough. All right, so Kyle. And then 6, sure. Oh yeah, Skullcrack's the main. I just don't see us. Should have held on to that land. Too much life gain. Let's go into 14 here. Put them to 7, then they're back to 10. Yeah, we're just not winning this fight. It's possible I should have hung on to the bolt to try to double spell that, but... So... I have a Clothis, a couple arrows, some blood braids. Not really a whole lot for them to bring in this matchup. They have a Kemball and a Kaya's Guile. Deafening Clarion. So we definitely bring in the Skullcracks. Probably the least effective card for us here is Searing Blaze, given this player's particular list. So I think it's just 4 for 4. No reason to bring in Rest in Peace just to fight Uro. Guess they technically have Kolaghan's commands. One Clothis, is that enough? No, I still don't think Rest in Peace is worth diluting my deck just to try to counter 3 cards. Kind of disheartening though to wait like 8.5 minutes and only get kind of trounced. And yes, I agree. I could have mulliganed to a more aggressive hand, but I still think we likely would have lost the Abrupt Decay into Kaya's Guile hand. So I think we have a good chance to steal game 2 here on the play. I'm not confident about our ability to fight through the Lightning Helix, Kaya's Guile, Uro, Clothis deck. Hand's pretty reasonable. Definitely keep. Got a 1-drop into other spells. You know, this is pretty much guaranteed to connect for 4 damage. Like I said, we're highly likely to steal game 1 on the play, but like game 2 and game 3 on the draw, we're likely to be in some trouble here. Not caring about the sequencing of lands as far as triggering whatchamacallit. Okay, Edelwin's a nice draw here. Not too worried about them doing stuff on 1. Their deck doesn't. Their deck has Veil of Summer, which is kind of eh. Presume they're gonna fetch because Teferi is reasonable in this game, in those games, but it's not like the be-all end-all for their deck. It's kind of a mistake on their part here, really. Like, especially if your removal spell is Assassin's Trophy. People just don't learn until they get blown out by Boros Charm. This allows me to do that and skewer the critics. Okay. The Erling. Kemball. So gain 2, lose 2. Go to 7. Yeah, they're just dead. Staying this at Kemball. They get a 7. We're going to tap and kill them. There's Clothis that we suspected was there. Like I said, I mean, there's a chance we can win on the draw, but their deck is like tailor-made to pound burn. Does beg the question, am I supposed to bring in Blaze to fight Bloodbraid and company? Don't think so. Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a hand we keep, right? So we have a Lightning Helix in our future, I have a feeling. Oof. So we're going to get to go to 19 here. Okay. Yep. Lightning Helix. Cool. Hard to fight this uphill battle when they're gaining so much bloody life. Especially if they get to refuel with like an Invisit here. Bring to light, sure, for what? Yep. So they get a Cumble. Wow. Skull Crack. Be a great draw. Eidolon, not so much. We're going to 8 here. Followed by Clothis. Yeah, there's just no like fighting through this. Alright. Started out 2-0. Now we are 2-2. Yeah, we're back for match number 5. We're on the draw. So this hand has a lot to think about. It's a one-lander, which is a problem. It's got a bunch of mana, spells, bolts, etc. Can certainly win a game, but I think this hand's just too high risk with only one land, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand's a lot better. Probably put back. Screw the Critics is the most awkward card in this hand. What is it with Windswifties today? Mystic Forest doesn't tell me much. Alright, so go to Druid combo. Okay. Not our best matchup, also not our worst matchup. Let's do that to get the most value out of this turn. They get a Finks next turn, which is rough, but beatable. I'd like to draw land here. It's my best hope here. Guess we attack with everything. Hope they get careless with their blocks. Yeesh. So 7, 8, 9, 7. Nope. So 4. So this is 5, 9, 10, 12. Put them to 1. Hold that one. Can Boros Charm, put them to stuff. Go ahead and kill Scavenging Ooze. Then they have Shalai, which is obviously another problem. Good grief. This is rough. Good Lord. He freaking thinks this is going to draw here. Cord for 2. Okay. So annoying. Sure. Do you have a payoff? Alright, that's game. Ah, wonderful. Bring in those, go down the Boros Charms. To get a little bit lucky. Late play first. Hand's pretty good. Reason we're not leading on the fetch land is simply because I want to be able to dictate when we Searing Blaze. Okay. So Vizier. Vizier is just annoying enough that we have to bolt it, and I know that. That and it with things makes for a really annoying time. Okay. I actually can't cast anything here, which is wonderful. It's my mistake for presuming I could So is that lethal? Trigger. Can't vote Druid. Block, block. Put them to 5. one. Alright. Unfortunately, now we gotta try to beat this deck on the play, which is significantly trickier. Or on the draw, I mean. So we don't know that they have the Heliod combo. They could just be regular Devoted Druid with Kitchen Finks. So just think I click submit and hope for a little bit of luck here. So mulligan just doesn't do enough. His hand's better, it's not great, but it's better. Keep the Islet on bottom. Gotta bolt the bird. Not the best exchange for us, given the fact that we don't have sustainable damage right now, but a Devoted Druid too. It's not going to change the fact that it still does the damage, friend. That's annoying. Obviously have to take yield through the turn. Seriously, I shall lie to you. God bless America. Sure. Never hoped more for land in my life. All right. Yep. Please don't have collected company or something stupid. Seriously? This is so dumb. Powered through all this and then... Yeah, I got nothing. Alright. This wasn't meant to be. Hey, we're back for the wrap-up for the Modern Prelim with this Boros Burn list. Overall, interesting experience. Got a little bit lucky against Dredge round 1. Round 2, getting paired against Tron, obviously fairly nice. Round 3, Gruel aggro, we're usually a little bit favored against, or we were a little bit favored against the Zoo variants, but with them also playing Clothis and then multiple copies of Dragon's Claw. It's certainly possible. I should have brought in some number of Smash to Smithereens for Dragon's Claw in game number 3 after seeing it in game number 2. It's one of the few decisions I think that were to be made in this particular prelim. Round number 4, drawing a blank what we played against. And then obviously round number 5, we played against the Devoted Druid deck, and that deck was just loaded against us. Game 3 was pretty epic. You know, we fought through a lot of stuff. I think we killed it was either game 2 or game 3. We fought through a Shalai and some stuff, and then they had just untapped and collected company, and I'm just like... This was just one of those prelims. I think this was a good one to show examples of why... Oh, the 4th matchup was 5 Color Niv Miss It. They just played every life gain card that imaginable. Lightning Helix, Kaya's Guile, Uro. Really kind of hard to beat that value engine. You know, we even had good draws and still got plastered, unfortunately. That just feels like a bad matchup if they hit their mana and land drops. So, yeah, interesting prelim. Kind of disappointing result overall, 2 and 3. I think it showed why you want some cards like Path to Exile. I think it showed why you want cards, as much as people don't like them, like Exquisite Firecraft or other anti-life gain things. Some people play Purging Frostodon, some people play Flames of the Blood Hand, etc. You know, other cards that can prevent life gain. You know, maybe even look worth into going back to the Naya builds with Nakatl, although I don't know if that's worth it with losing the utility with Sunbaked Canyons and such. Definitely some things to explore with Burn in the format. I still don't think it's in the best place in the format right now, despite the 5-0 we had. I think it's an okay deck. I think it's like a tier 2 deck, tier 2.5 deck. It can win some matches, it can certainly win tournaments, but it's not going to be like the top dog right now. So, deck's a lot of fun. Continue to play it on the channel. It's been kind of the staple of the channel here for a while, and it, along with Jund, are kind of the cornerstones moving forward, along with some Pioneer content. So, I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. If you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below.